The Whitmore family had been looking forward to their vacation for months. Colorado's high hills, with its breathtaking landscapes and serene wilderness, was the perfect getaway from their fast-paced city life. But what was supposed to be a time of joy and relaxation turned into a nightmare that no family should ever have to endure. Their 9-year-old daughter, Sarah Whitmore, was kidnapped in the dead of night, leaving behind a trail of devastation. A mother on the verge of ending her life, and a nationwide manhunt that culminated in a deadly confrontation with the United States police force. The Whitmore family, James, Olivia, and their daughter Sarah, arrived at their secluded cabin in the high hills of Colorado on a bright summer afternoon. The air was crisp, the scent of pine filling their lungs as they unpacked their bags. Sarah was overjoyed. The 9-year-old had always loved nature, and she had spent the evening collecting pine cones and chasing fireflies. Her parents watched her with warm smiles, unaware that this would be the last time they would see their daughter's joyful laughter for a long time. Night fell, and an eerie silence took over the hills. Deep in the forest, unseen eyes watched the family. Predators, not of the wild, but of the worst kind, humans, had been waiting for their moment. And that moment came when darkness swallowed the hills completely. Around midnight, Olivia awoke to a strange noise. It was faint but distinct, a soft creak of the wooden deck outside their cabin. Her heart pounded. She nudged James awake, whispering about the noise. He dismissed it, assuming it was just an animal. But Olivia's instincts screamed otherwise. She tiptoed towards Sarah's room, opening the door gently. The sight before her turned her blood to ice. The window was wide open, curtains fluttering in the night breeze. Sarah's bed was empty. A muffled scream from outside shattered Olivia's world. She rushed out, only to be met with a brutal force to the head. The world spun as she collapsed onto the wooden floor, darkness consuming her. James, awoken by the commotion, rushed out in time to see masked figures carrying his daughter into the forest. He bolted after them, his heart hammering, but the kidnappers were fast. A van roared to life in the distance, its taillights disappearing into the night before he could get close. James fumbled for his phone, his fingers shaking as he dialed 911. His voice cracked as he explained what had happened. The operator assured him that officers were on their way, but James knew every second counted. The van was gone. His daughter was gone. Within the hour, local law enforcement and the FBI arrived at the remote cabin. Search dogs were brought in, their noses to the ground, sniffing for Sarah's scent. Helicopters combed the area with powerful spotlights, but the dense wilderness made it nearly impossible to track the kidnappers' route. Olivia, her head bandaged from the attack, sat on the front porch, staring blankly into the trees. She barely blinked, barely breathed. Sarah was her world, and now she was gone. The authorities asked questions. Had they seen any suspicious people in town? Had they received any threats? Had Sarah spoken to anyone unusual? But nothing stood out. The Whitmores were a normal family with no enemies, no debts, and no reason to be targeted. Then came the ransom call. The call came at dawn. James answered before the first ring had even finished. A distorted voice on the other end spoke in a calm but firm tone. If you want to see your daughter alive, you'll follow our instructions exactly. James felt bile rise in his throat. Please just let her go, he begged. She's only 9. The voice ignored his plea. $1 million. No police. We'll call again with drop-off details. Then the line went dead. James felt helpless. They didn't have $1 million. They were a middle-class family. The FBI assured him that ransom demands were often a way to buy time. The real goal of these criminals might be far worse. Every passing hour felt like an eternity. Olivia refused to eat. She barely spoke. The FBI analyzed the call, trying to trace it, but the kidnappers were careful. They had used a burner phone, untraceable and disposable. But then a breakthrough came. Sarah was gone. When Olivia regained consciousness, she was met with the piercing reality. Her daughter had been taken. Her wails echoed through the hills as she clung to James, her mind unraveling with grief. Days passed with no ransom call, no sign of their little girl. Olivia spiraled into a state of despair. She refused to eat, refused to sleep. The pain was unbearable, and one evening, she reached for a bottle of sleeping pills, determined to end the agony. But before she could take them, James found her, holding her as she sobbed uncontrollably. "She's still alive," he whispered, "and we will find her." The FBI was soon involved. A statewide Amber Alert was issued, and every police department in the region was put on high alert. Surveillance cameras from nearby roads revealed a black SUV speeding away from the hills around the time of the kidnapping. Using satellite tracking and phone triangulation, authorities traced the vehicle's movement to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Denver. The location was soon surrounded, but when police stormed in, the place was empty, except for a chilling discovery: a video recording. The grainy footage showed Sarah, blindfolded and tied to a chair. A masked figure stood beside her, speaking in a distorted voice. "Do not involve the authorities. If you do, the girl dies." The message was clear. The kidnappers were watching. Despite the warning, authorities intensified their search. Forensic experts examined the video and pinpointed unique background noises, train horns and a distinct echo suggesting an underground location. Detectives followed leads across multiple states, tracking suspicious bank transactions and phone signals. A major breakthrough came when an undercover officer, posing as a criminal, infiltrated a group linked to child trafficking. The officer overheard critical information. Sarah was being moved. The race against time had begun. The final location was identified: a remote, heavily guarded cabin deep in the Colorado wilderness. Special forces were deployed. As the team closed in, chaos erupted. The kidnappers, realizing they were surrounded, opened fire. A fierce shootout ensued. Bullets tore through the night, some criminals trying to escape into the forest. But they were outmatched. Several kidnappers were shot dead, while others were captured alive. When the dust settled, authorities rushed into the cabin. And there she was. Sarah, trembling but alive, was curled up in a corner, her face streaked with tears. A police officer lifted her into his arms, whispering, "You're safe now." The moment Olivia saw Sarah, she collapsed in sobs of relief. She held her daughter so tightly, as if afraid she would vanish again. James stood beside them, tears streaming down his face. Sarah was traumatized but safe, and over time she would heal. The criminals who survived faced justice, ensuring they would never hurt another child again. Sarah Whitmore's kidnapping was a nightmare, but it also proved the resilience of a family's love and the relentless pursuit of justice. Thanks to the dedication of law enforcement, what could have been an unsolved tragedy turned into a triumphant rescue. The story of Sarah serves as a reminder of the dark forces that lurk in society, but also of the heroes who fight tirelessly to keep us safe. Stay tuned for more real-life mysteries. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more gripping content.